Okay, wonderful. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Saturdays for Sustainability Learning. Yet another day, yet another Saturday to discuss sustainability topics for holistic understanding. That's the purpose we are connecting with. And if you have joined for the first time, consider this as a mastermind group where we are a peer-to-peer mentoring group trying to understand one concept every week, helping each other to understand concepts and getting advice and inputs from fellow members as well. So investing 60 minutes, you can get one new concept every week, something new to learn in sustainability, networking. You will get to know the inputs, insights, experiences of people from different geographical, educational, professional background. So that's really a great thing. Third is learning opportunities, and fourth is thought leadership. From this, let's say 2025 to maybe 2030, 2050, where we want to lead sustainable development discussion and how we can be a active member to bring this change. So that is something that we will discuss. Two things, if you ask me just within 1 minute, it's the DIKW pyramid, data, information, knowledge, wisdom. We have more data, more information than we can possibly consume. And that's why now the AI bots are helping us. But still, the knowledge and wisdom is something that we should focus on. Just data and information is very easy to get. And that's what we will try to do with this group. So with the experience, collective experiences of all of us. Okay. And second, the basic foundation of this discussion is, this forum is discussion and question and answer is the best way to learn. So please feel free to ask your doubts, ask your questions. Feel free to add your experiences, what you have experienced in your life, in your professional career. So please feel free to share your inputs. This is non-judgmental group. So this is just a gentle reminder for all of you. How to join? I hope all of you have already registered and you have got the calendar invite and you are already in the WhatsApp group. But if not, please register. This is a one-time registration. Don't have to do it again. And you will receive all the updates and all the invites. So let's come back to today's topic, today's discussion. And we had already discussed systems thinking by Dr. Sukanta sir. Okay, so that was a great session where we identified what is systems thinking and how we can do it. So today, what I thought we could dwell deeper into some of the tools, some of the good resources, and which will be useful for us understanding sustainability, first thing, and second thing, in our day-to-day context, whatever news, whatever events we see, we can link it to systems thinking and we can arrive at a better solutions for them. So I'll just quickly share some of the resources with you all. And meanwhile, when I am sharing, so please feel free if you want to share something, you can always do so. Just a minute. Yeah, this is the screen I wanted to share. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen now. Okay, this should not be open. All right. So I'll share some of the resources. Okay. Yeah. So the first resource to start with is the Systems Thinker website. And I hope you can see the screen if you can just confirm. Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. Thanks. So whatever resources you require, you will get in on this website, that is Systems Thinker. And some of the great authors, some of the great resources in terms of small bits of concept, so that you will get everything you will get on this website. So great resource to explore. But having all these resources is not enough. So I'll just quickly share some of the resources which you can use. Okay. So if you want to understand systems thinking, so Introduction to Systems Thinking, this is by Daniel Kim, and you will find the link over here. Okay. Most of the Introduction to Systems Thinking. So this is how to guide, the first one. If I just open it, so this is the Introduction to Systems Thinking. And Daniel Kim's books in terms of like this book, I'll quickly share, and we will get clarity about this topic. Okay, I'll just share this one. Let me just make it big. And I hope it is readable for you. If not, let me know.
It's good enough.
Okay, okay. So Daniel Kim's books are really well, and I'll share 2, 3 books of him. So first is this Introduction to Systems Thinking. Okay. So we have already discussed. So system is a collection of multiple things. So multiple elements interacting with each other, and there is a goal of the system, and everything is coordinating, cooperating, and that's how the outcome we receive. So in a simple example, so system, if we talk about automobile, we already talked, right? So automobile system. So where is automobile? If we ask the question, so it's not in any of the component, like it's not an engine. Without the wheels, engine is of no use. So a vehicle or a car is an entire system when all the components work together and deliver the outcome or the goal of the system. Uh, in that way, we understand systems, right? So for some of the characteristics of systems have purpose. Like car, it has a purpose to go from one place to another, right? Then a systems attempt to maintain stability through feedback. So there is continuous feedback loop that is happening. Okay. There is an iceberg model. We will discuss this shortly. Okay. If you have anything to add, please let me know. If you want to stop somewhere, let me know. Mona Lisa, you want to add something? Yeah, and systems thinking and system dynamics, many time it is confused. But we can understand it in this way is systems thinking is a mental model, how we think about it, how we perceive these things. And system dynamics is all about, it will be more clear with this, just a minute. This is the second book of Daniel Kim, System Archetypes. I hope you can see it on the screen. So this is all about system archetypes. And if you ask me what is system archetype, I'll just explain it in this book. It's a simple way to understand how different things happen. Okay. So I'll in detail, I'll explain. But if you ask me system dynamics and systems thinking, what is the difference? So generally systems thinking is a basic things which we try to understand how the behavior is changing. Okay. So we are not using complex tools in systems thinking, but in system dynamics, we use computer models. There is a concept of stock flow diagram. We simulate it, we get the result, and then we analyze it, and then we come back to systems thinking. So this is a continuous interaction. Okay. So I'll also share with this system archetype books also, and we will also see one archetype today in context of war of two countries, because all of us already aware of India-Pakistan war. So we will try to understand that war with one system archetype. Okay. All right. Yeah. So when we talk about systems thinking, I want to explain this. So level of understanding, if we see the newspaper, right? So generally it is all about events, and in our life as well, many times we only focus on events, right? When we talk about events, it's just one-time activity, right? So one-time activity happens and we forget about it. We don't learn from it. Systems thinking, system dynamics talks about pattern of behavior. And not only pattern of behavior is nothing but you analyze it for, let's say, some duration of time, and that's how you can see how it has behaved in the previous, maybe past month, past years, past decades, right? And then systemic structure is all about uh, where exactly is the leverage point. So that's one concept of systems thinking. Leverage point is let's say if you want to change the system, right? So there are multiple ways how we can change it. So a highest leverage point is with less effort, you can change the entire system, like going to the software and changing something. So that's like a leverage point, changing the mental model, how we see to the things, what the goal of the system is. If we change that, that would be the highest leverage point to change. So systems thinking, the purpose or the goal is increasing the leverage point, finding the highest leverage point, and there if we could change, then the systemic structure can change, and that's how the highest level of understanding we get. So how it is related to sustainability, if you have one question. So generally, sustainability or lack of sustainability is because of lack of understanding of long-term impacts of any action, right? So just take an example. If we just talk about the events, okay? So just short term would be, let's say if I use more pesticides, I'll get more yield. That's a simple logic. Just one event activity that we are thinking about. If I use more pesticide, if I use more fertilizers, I would get more yield. But we are not thinking about what will happen over the period of time. So if we understand the pattern of behavior and then system structure, long term it is not feasible, right? So using more pesticides, using more maybe fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, that's not a sustainable option. So this kind of understanding we get when we look at it with systems lens. Okay. And that's why sustainability and systems thinking go hand in hand. If we want to find a sustainable solution for any problem, systems thinking is one of the most popular way to arrive to the solution. Okay. So yeah. And when we talked about different tools, so in systems thinking, these are the two popular tools. I'll quickly share the terminology, the languages that we use in this. First is the balancing loop or the loop. Okay. As you can see, the causal link, it's a different way to understand would be, you might have known the why analysis, right? Or 5 why technique. So you take any problem and then you ask why it has happened, the reason behind it, you backtrace it. You ask 5 times why, and that's how you get to root cause analysis. So this is a little bit different because in root cause analysis, generally you don't see the interaction of different elements. In causal loop diagram, you can see how these different elements are impacting to each other, how they are interacting with each other. Okay. So this is just one example of balancing feedback loop. So how you read it is, let's say, we will discuss it with one example, but just for your understanding. So this is a causal loop diagram and this is a stock flow diagram. So this is another tool kit from the systems thinking. Stock is the accumulation of any resource or anything. Okay. And the flow is the change in the stock. So how it is changing. So that's nothing but flow. Okay. And these are some of the terminology. If it is S or positive, it is in the same direction. Means one variable, if it is increasing, then second variable will also increase. So if it is the same, then it is S or positive. And R and B is a balancing feedback loop and R is a reinforcing feedback loop. And we will see it in detail, okay? There are different tools as we have seen, and some of them are listed in front of you. Behavior over time graph, the X and Y axis, as you can see, causal loop diagram. So A is changing B is again changing A, reinforcing feedback loop. If both are increasing each other, for example, principal amount in bank and the interest. The more principal amount, the more interest you get. The more interest you get, the more principal gets added. And over time, you can see both are increasing, reinforcing feedback loop. Second is a balancing feedback loop. One reduces the other. The tab that we use for water, right? So this is a balancing feedback loop. So we will discuss it, okay? Then system archetype, that we will see it in detail for today with one example. Then the other tools are graphical function diagram that you get majorly from one of the structural thinking tool. how the one variable is affecting the another, uh, the relation of two variables, structure behavior pair with the stock flow diagram, and entire policy structure diagram with all the stock flow analysis. And you can feed it to the system. There are softwares, and with the computer model, you can get the simulation how that will behave in the future as well. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with it, and that's really interesting. And then the reflection and experimentation. So that's what is computer-based tools or system dynamics, that comes under system dynamics. All right. So with the system archetype, I'll just share that with you with few examples. So one question. Okay. Before going ahead, if you have any question till this time, please, anything you want to add or ask?
One general question.
Uh-huh.
How does system thinking differ from, say, critical thinking?
Okay. When you say critical thinking, it's all about mainly logical thing, right? Is that correct?
Uh,
Means with
yeah,
logic
correct.
deduction.
Looking at things with reasoning, logic, and
Yeah. Yeah. So
forming
my
anything.
understanding is in critical thinking, you only see it with logic. Okay. And that too, the interaction is missing in critical thinking. In systems thinking, the two things which are important is, first is, if we go deep in systems thinking, it's not only about logical. Okay. You also come across the heart or the goal or the softer components of the which cannot be measured with practical logic. Okay, so that part also comes in systems thinking, first thing. And second thing, systems thinking also thinks about, first is long term, and second is the duration, the time, what will happen in the future, how that is
Hmm.
behaving over the period of time. So I guess these are the two differences.
Thank you. That's useful. It's
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's move ahead with system archetypes. So one option is, now we have seen the different tools and all these things. So that is good to understand. But the practical difficulty is, can you do all these exercises for every time a problem comes in front of you? Can you do all these things like identifying the variables, then plotting behavior over time, then plotting the causal loop diagram, and then trying to understand how this system is working? It's not possible. So that's why system archetype, it is a recognized common system behavior, common behavior pattern, and we will see many. So what they have done in system archetypes is, there are few popular behavior. Okay. So let's say behavior number one, we name it as a, let's take first example, drifting gold. So this is a popular behavior. And once you see any event, you can just check with which of the archetype it is closer to it. And then for that archetype, you will find all the description, all the guidelines, how to handle that archetype, or where the highest leverage point will be. What should be the ideal solution to deal with this kind of archetype? And then you can just fine tune it with the details. So that's the basic utility of the archetype. Okay. So we will see one of the archetype. Let's see escalation. Escalation, or just a minute. Yeah, let's see the escalation. This is related to war or competition between the two parties. Okay, so in today's context, in today's news, all of us, we are already aware about Indian-Pakistan war. So let's take the escalation as a system archetype. Okay. So with escalation, you can take the example of nuclear weapons for two countries. Okay. So A is one country and B is a second country. Okay. So activity of A is the number of nuclear warheads a country have. Okay. So A country has, let's say, 150 nuclear warheads, and B country also has, let's say, 150 nuclear warheads. Let's take an example. Now, what A's result is having the nuclear, let's say, or just we talk about weapon. Okay, just simplify it. A's number of weapons. The result is having the A's weapons. The quality of A's position relative to B is B gets threatened with the number of weapons A has. The perception of threat, we can maybe rename it as the perception of threat. So with A's weapons going up, B's perception of threat goes up. Activity A, same. This arrow you can see same. A's result is the perception of threat, and uh, the threat level maybe, and then the perception by B, the relative position. So that's also increases. So A's weapons increase, the threat increases, or the impact of A's weapons or destruction increases, and that's the perception of threat increases. Till this time, it's same arrow, right? So what B does is, B also increases its weapons in the same direction, right? So B, the threat increases, and then B also increases its weapons, and that's how the destruction capacity of B increases. And again, what if we see for B, it's balancing feedback loop. So with increasing the weapon, it has tried to reduce the threat or the perception of threat by A. Let's see about this loop. Okay, this is a balancing feedback loop. Two balancing feedback loop are there. So for B, if we consider A's increasing weapons are increasing the threat to B, then B is increasing the weapons, and that's how its destruction power also increases, the B's result, and that's how B is trying to reduce the relative threat of A or the perception of threat of A. In the same way for A, B has increased the weapons. So A is also increasing, A is also perceiving that it is threat. So A is also increasing the number of weapons, and that's how this continues go on. It's go on continuously, and both build up their supply, weapon supply, and this is a popular archetype called as escalation. So this is for any two countries, competing countries, or any two teams in a same company. If the resources, if you see are, let's say, I'll just read it, it will be more clear. In the escalation archetype, one party A takes action that are perceived by the other as a threat. The other party responds in a similar manner, increasing the threat to A and resulting in more threatening actions by A. The reinforcing loop is traced out by following the outline of the figure 8, produced by two balancing loops. So we have seen two balancing loop, and this combination of these two is producing a reinforcing feedback loop. So reinforcing loop in a way that if you just think about the number of weapons as a stock, or just one thing, how many number of weapons that both of them together have. So you can see it is continuously reinforcing, right? It will not go less unless and until we shift something major into the system, right? Now, in such kind of situation, if you want to break this, yeah, Chit, you want to add something?
No, no, no. Sorry. Go ahead.
Just a minute. Yeah. So if you want to break this system archetype, what we can do is, what is the relative measure that pits one party against the other, and can you change it? So this happens when there are two competing parties. That's how the escalation happens. So what is the relative measure that pits one party against the other? So what is the perception of threat, how they are getting it? What are the significant delays in the system that may distort the true picture of the threat? So what is the meaning of this is, generally what happen, such kind of behavior happens because there is a delay. Okay. So let me just explain this with the weapons. Okay. So generally what happen, if any country decides to increase their weapons today, maybe they will not be able to do it in the next day or in next year. Maybe it will take 10 year, 15 year, 20 year, or maybe 30 years time to develop the kind of weapon that they require, right? So let's say A has initiated the development of weapon. So now A's results won't come immediately, right? So it will take a lot of time. There is a delay in the system. But maybe this information is received to B, and B is perceiving threat that, okay, A is increasing their weapons and I should also do the same. So B also engages in such kind of programs. But maybe later on, A has decided that, okay, we have other priorities, let's not do this. Okay. But because there is a delay and there is already communication to B that it has already increased, A has already increased their weapon or they are trying to do it. So B also does that. Over the period of time, if A stops this, maybe all the weapons, but it doesn't stop the B's perception. So there is a delay, and that's how the system distort the perception of threat. Okay. I hope I could explain it in a proper way. Let me know if this is not clear. I'll explain it in another way. Is this clear, the second point?
Yes, Dhananjay.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Then the third is, what are the deep-rooted assumptions that lie beneath the actions taken in the response to the threat? So yeah, so escalation generally happens because the assumption is, let's say if A is increasing their weapons, so absolutely it's for me. And in this way, the B also perceives. So this is the escalation, popular escalation system thinking archetype that you can see. So the benefit of this system archetypes is, so whenever we see any news, generally what happened in the newspaper or in any news, we just see one event, right? So the thing happens, the accident happened. Let's take an example. There is, let's say, some highway. At some place, the accident happened. That's it. The news. That is at event level. But if it is happening recurring, if it is happening again and again on the same spot, on the same road, on the same kind of vehicle, same kind of car, then this becomes something we should look at it with the system's lens, or maybe we should also see what is happening exactly over there. And there you can just see to it that which of the system archetype that is working, and that's how you can analyze it. First thing, you can understand the situation, which are the key players, what exactly causing the problem, and second thing is how do you solve it, where is the solution for that system archetype. And yeah, so with this escalation, this is the one thing. And after explaining this, so let me just go back to another system archetype. Maybe the addiction is also a good system archetype that we all can relate in our lives. So I'll just explain it. If anybody would like to add anything, please you can before I jump to another system archetype. Should we move ahead then?
I think so.
Okay, great. So this is second archetype. I'll not explain everything because you can read it later on and it will take a lot of time. But let's understand this second archetype, which is shifting the burden or addiction. Okay. So I'll first explain this causal loop diagram. Let's imagine there is a problem. Okay. And you get the symptom. Okay. So what we generally do is there are two options to do it. First is maybe you have to analyze the problem, why it is happening, and you have to implement the solution, one solution, which takes a lot of time to see the impact. Okay, so this is the internal solution or the right solution, we can say. Or the second is external intervention which will solve this problem quickly. Okay. So both are balancing feedback loop. Means it is let's say closing the difference between the two. First is, let's say, a problem, for example, let's say if I'm getting headache, okay. Let's take an example of headache. Okay, so all of us might have experienced that sometime in our life. So if you get headache, first solution would be, I need to find out why I had the headache and I need to solve it. But it takes some time. There is a delay for this. But I have a deadline, I have a meeting, I have my office, maybe my exams tomorrow. I need external intervention, which is very quick. I want the resolution right now. So what I'll do, instead of internal solution or the right solution, what I'll do, I'll just get one pill, and with that pill, with that medicine, I'll just solve this problem. The problem, now the symptom is gone, right? So this is a day one. Then again, after few days, again I get the headache. I again take the same pill because in the previously, I remember that this solution worked, and that's how I take the same pill again. Now again, after few days, the same problem, the same symptom comes. Again, I take the pill because that now has become an habit, or that has become an addiction for me. And the second thing, it is not only happening with this one. This is also causing dependency on external intervention or the popular solution that we have, or the addiction that we got, right? So just we understand with the arrows now, problem symptom is there. The more the problem symptom, the more the requirement of the external intervention or the solution or whatever pill we are taking. The more the problem, the more imperative, the more the solution that we will take. The more the solution we apply, less will be the problem, right? So this nulls, this is positive, this is negative, and that's how you try to reduce the problem. But what happened over the period of time, this external intervention, using it more, it adds dependency to this external intervention. S is for positive. And this positive, the more dependency that we have, the less is the imperative for the internal solution or the right solution. Less is the motivation to find the right solution, because already we know that this solution works. And that's how this internal solution gets less and less priority. Okay. I'll read this, and again we will see with second example of this addiction. In a shifting the burden or the addiction archetype, a problem is solved by applying a symptomatic solution. Symptomatic solution is external solution or short-term solution that we saw here, which diverts attention away from more fundamental solutions, which are the R1. Okay. Yeah. In an addiction structure, a shifting the burden degrades into an addictive pattern in which the side effect gets so entrenched that it overwhelms the original problem symptom. So this is one of the popular, when we get to know about this system archetype is, when the addictive pattern, the side effect of this external intervention becomes so high that it overwhelms the problem symptom. Now with this external intervention, with this addiction, the problem is so big, even bigger than the problem symptom. And that's when you come to know that, okay, this is the addiction system archetype. Okay. Let me also share how to deal with this archetype. The problem symptom are usually easier than the other elements of the structure. The symptoms are easier if we see entire system. The side effect has become the problem. You may be dealing with an addiction structure. And one of the best example for this is alcohol consumption. Okay. Let's take the example to understand this. Okay. I'll read this line, and again we will see with the alcohol addiction example. The side effect has become the problem. You may have dealing with an addiction structure. Let's understand this with the addiction of alcohol. Okay. So consider the problem symptom as stress. Okay. Maybe office stress. So let's say we get the office stress, and one way to solve the office stress is maybe talking to our boss, talking to the colleague, or maybe changing the job. So that's the only solution, internal solution, not the right solution that we have. The external solution or symptomatic solution is maybe consuming the alcohol, and that's what the one of the most popular reason the people who consume alcohol they tells, right? So uh, I had the stress, and that's why I consume the alcohol maybe, and that solves my problem. So this is the loop that where they are, right? So the more the stress, the more alcohol they'll take, and less the problem becomes, the symptom becomes, problem remains there. And over the period of time, this solution works, and the dependency on this alcohol becomes more and more whenever they feel stress. And the imperative, the motivation to find out the exact or the proper solution reduces, right? Because finding out the right solution requires some time. The delay is there. And that's why the person gets addicted to alcohol, this B1 balancing feedback loop. But when we get to know it, when this alcohol consumption has some other side effects, maybe the liver has damaged, maybe they have, let's say, distorted maybe their financial situation, or some other uh, things like accident or something like that. So when these external interventions, these addictions, uh, maybe the side effect that is more dangerous than the problem symptom. So this is one of the popular system archetype, right? So the side effect has become problem. You are mostly dealing with addiction structure. So how do we solve it? Whether a solution is symptomatic or fundamental often depends on one's perspective. So which solution is fundamental and which solution is symptomatic? So that depends on the understanding and the case to case basis, but explore the problem from differing perspective in order to come to a more comprehensive understanding of what the fundamental solution may be. One of the things that we can do is try to, if we have two solutions, try to find out which would be the symptomatic solution and which can be a comprehensive or the fundamental solution that we could have. So this is one of the popular system archetype. And I can also quote one example, one more example in our day-to-day life. Problem symptom is boredom. I have some boredom, right? I have few minutes of time. I don't know what to do in that time. So what I do is I just take my mobile and I just scroll on social media. This is external intervention, symptomatic solution. I scroll on, let's say, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the boredom gets reduced immediately, right? So this is a B1. What happens is over the period of time, I get the habit of whenever I feel that I have some time, I'll just go to social media and I'll go to this B1. Then the dependency on external intervention. So maybe by managing my time in a better way or engaging in some valuable activity, maybe book reading or exercising or some any other valuable activity that leads to the goal, long-term goals, the dependency, it reduces for this fundamental solution. And that's how we get addicted to the mobile, right? So whenever I have time, I'll go to mobile and I'll just waste my time. Instead of that, resolving the boredom or why I get bored in this, let's say 5-10 minutes, can I do it? Can I utilize that time for some other value adding activity? And that's how the addiction works. And when we will get to know, when majority of our time or with the mobile usage more than, let's say, 3, 4, 5 hours, 6 hours, and even I can see many children now using mobile more than 10 hours. That's true. So that's when we get to know, when they get stressed, when they get the health complications of continuously using the mobile, maybe the issues with their neck or their spine. So in that way, or the eyes, then we will get to know that, okay, this is addiction. So in this way, we can understand this system archetype and the application of it. Okay. and you can see how to handle the addiction as well. Okay. Yeah, so all these archetypes are explained in detail in this next few pages, as you can see over here. And what we discuss with the personal habit or with the personal example, so that same works with organizations as well. And you can also read it in detail for this. Okay, so there are all these system archetypes are explained in detail: drifting the goal, the escalation, okay, price wars. This is again example of escalation. Fixes that fail. This is very popular in sustainability. One short solution that we implement that doesn't work in long term, it has unintended consequences, and that's how you worsen the problem over the period of time. Yeah, so these are the multiple tools, multiple system archetypes that you can see under this tool. Let me know if you have any query, anything to ask, or anything to add in this. Nothing to add?
So basically, these various system archetypes that we talk of, right? They are generic common patterns that are grouped. So
Yeah.
how do you identify a certain, see, addiction is one pattern that you talked of, right? Uh, so how do I know a
Uh,
particular system archetype applies to a particular uh, scenario that I'm dealing with? So
okay.
does it come by practice? You critically think, you always thinking about it from a systems concept and trying to map out and see the results, or are there some kind of cheat sheets available?
The cheat sheet is the same that you are seeing on the screen. Okay. So
Okay.
this is the easiest way to understand different archetypes. Okay. But how you get to know is many times there are two archetypes you can also see in one system as well. Okay. For example, fixes that fail and maybe the addiction archetype. So little bit you can see the similarity over there. Okay. But you will get to know with the practice. So once you understand all the system archetypes, what are there, and whenever you see any causal loop diagram, so over the period of time, you will be able to see, okay, so this is happening. For example, let's say, I don't know the fixes that fail. It is the archetype. Okay. If
Okay.
example, I'm just trying to understand there is a problem symptom. I'm using some fix and it is solving the problem. This loop is closing. Okay. But over the period of time, what I'm seeing, this fix with some delay is causing unintended consequences. And that is leading to the more problem. Right. So if I see this kind of system archetype, means with one example, and then you can relate it to, okay, this is the fixes that fail. So these are some of the popular 8-10 system archetypes, and you will be able to relate to which it relates very closely. It might relate to others as well, but which is the best out of the two that you can select.
So this even still feels like, let's say I found a problem. Let's take a software example. I found a problem with the code. I fixed it,
Okay.
and I it seemed to work well. And after a period of time, like the delay that you mentioned, there is some other thing that did not work well, so it created another problem.
Okay.
So if
Let's
I'm thinking normally, I will be looking at fix and move on, fix and move on, quick fix and move on, quick fix and
correct.
move on.
Correct.
If
Correct.
I'm looking at it from a systems thinking perspective, I'll be looking at, while solving the problem, I'll be looking at what caused the problem, what all could be the side effects, and try to resolve them as part of the problem solution itself. Is
Perfect.
that how it works?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the
Okay.
example that you shared, so we can link
Hmm.
it to sustainability also. So I'll just refine the example a little bit.
Sure.
Just modifying. Thanks a lot for adding that example. So let's take one example that there is a software. Okay. There is some bug, there is some problem. Okay. And the way the fix was applied was maybe you increase the capacity of the software or the system that is handling it. And that's how you solve the problem. Okay. Does that relate, Miss? Is
Yeah,
it?
I can relate to it.
Yeah. So there is a problem. Instead of solving the problem, the fix that you use is you increase the capacity of the system, maybe computer in this case. Okay. That's how you solve this problem. Next time also what you're doing, again, you're doing the same thing. The problem is there. Instead of seeing where it was, you are again improving the system, or in this case, let's say if doing so, the system uses more data or more storage, for example. Okay. Because we haven't fixed the bug which was there. And that's how the solution is getting, the fix is getting, but the overall size of the files or the storage that is required or the capacity that we have, that is continuously we are expanding. You
Hmm.
not get to know until and unless, because there is a delay. You won't be able to see it immediately. Over the period of time, maybe after usage of 1 year of that software, you will see that there is a tremendous maybe footprint that is coming from the storage of this unnecessary files, which we could have deleted or which we could have optimized.
True.
And that is now the problem symptom after 1 year, it will be so big that you can't fix it with this, right?
Hmm.
Or the super bugs as well. You can also fixes that fail. Uh, Super bugs, or we know the immunity for the people is not working for some kind of drugs, right? Because of overuse of them. So that is also fixes that fail. You can categorize them in this way,
Hmm.
right?
True.
I hope this helps.
It does. I was trying to connect it to the current scenario that the country is facing, right? We have been probably just take the conflicts that we have been having with our neighbor, right? So
Right.
we have, as long as you try to start fixing it through some small fixes, bandit problems and things like that, the problem will open up in a different way. And I think a lot of the people in the country are now talking about why don't we find a permanent solution to this?
Yeah,
And which is what is this, right? This There's a delay, and there is you think you have fixed the problem, there is a delay, it opens up something else. So you keep on working this, and we have worked this like 80 years now. I
yeah,
hope we don't have to work another 80 years, but this similarly feels like when
yeah,
you don't think all perspectives, you may land up in this.
absolutely.
True. Thanks.
And you will find more examples in this detailed discussion. Okay, so this is a cheat sheet from where I have explained. Now, this is a detailed explanation. Okay, so let's say for fixes that fail, I'll just check. Yeah, so you will find multiple examples in this as well.
Hmm. So you solve one particular expedite order, but then you're creating a stress in the system which causes delays elsewhere.
Yeah, so what if I explain this in just 1 minute? So let's say there is some outlet, customer outlet, and there are few orders. Some, let's say on one occasion orders were more than the capacity. Okay. So you have dissatisfied customers with late orders. So that's how what you did, you expedite the orders. Okay. Maybe you put system in stress for some time, more orders deliver, the and in this way you try to solve this problem. But over the period of time with the delay, production line disruptions are going to be, and that will miss delivery dates, that is going to increase with this. The more it will be, the more dissatisfied the customers are.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I've been through this.
yeah. Yeah, so this is a really great tool to explore. But apart from that, there are multiple resources. I guess we might not be discussing all today, but yeah. So this systems thinker, this one resource which you can explore, maybe with the sectors also. You can browse by article, videos, webinar, authors. You can do so. This is a unschool, and they have really good program on systems thinking. So this is also one resource that I would like to recommend. And this is one of the article from there. So tools of systems thinking. I hope you can see.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So this is also good article, and one of the best article, I would say. One of the best and one of the first in analyzing this kind of data in a simple language. So systems thinking is nothing about its interconnectedness, understanding how these different elements are interacting. Instead of linear, it's about circular. We are closing the loop. That's the systems thinking. Instead of silos, we are talking about emergence. Not how these two things are working in silos, but how they are impacting and how what is the outcome of both of them existing in the same environment. The emergence that we are discussing. Instead of parts, we are talking about wholes. As a whole, how the outcome is there. Instead of just analysis, in analysis, generally we try to segregate the things and we try to specialize, we try to focus on one thing, and that's how we try to maybe understand it with one small thing and interpolate it with all the uh, entire system. But that's not the thing in systems thinking. It's the synthesis in isolation and relationship. So this is in short the systems thinking is all about. So we will find more details in this. So this is a great resource. The third that I can suggest is Academy for Systems Change. This is from Donilla Meadows project. And as you know, Donilla Meadows was one of the first authors to write great book on the systems thinking. So you can also check this resource. And apart from that, you will find many books by Daniel Kim in this resource itself. I hope this helps. And apart from that, I have also created all videos for system archetypes. If you are more interested, you can check on the YouTube channel as well. So I'll share that links.
Are there any good certifications for systems thinking?
Yeah. So one of them is from MIT. Okay. But I'm not sure how much is the cost. That must
Hmm.
be costly. Second one is MIT OCW. I'll share all the resources. Okay, I have few CW system dynamics. Oops. And if you want to understand system dynamics, there is one course on Swayam portal as well, which I did. I
Hmm.
completed that.
Hmm.
Uh, that is also good. Introduction to System Dynamics. So this is MIT's course. Okay. Then second is System Dynamics, NPTEL. Introduction to System Dynamics Modeling. So here you will get the software as well, how you can do it. So it's much more detailed. So systems thinking,
Hmm.
how to draw causal loop diagram, stock flow diagram in detail, graphical integration with Excel. You will learn negative feedback loop, positive feedback loop in detail. Then many examples you will see. Okay, modeling delays, how we can uh, create the models. So that's one of the interesting things I like from this course. And supply chain, how you can implement it, and also modeling examples, system archetypes, and course wrap up. So this is also great resource.
Nice. Thank you.
And I am also part of I could meet this professor actually. For IIT Bombay, they had a system dynamics group. So Siddesh and I met there actually. So
Mm,
these professors are really down to earth. Okay, so these are really wonderful people who are working in this field. So you can definitely you can go for this NPTEL course. And if you want certification, you can go to Swayam. And if it is available on Swayam, you can register for this and you can get certification as well.
mm, nice.
These are few resources I would suggest. And yeah, apart from that, I am also developing few. So,
Nice.
yeah. Any other comment, any other query you had?
Um, no, a comment on this.
Ah,
I don't see much of systems thinking as part of the curricula in undergrad or graduate or even postgrad. Um, do you have any appreciation of why it could be?
yeah. So that's the exact question. It was asked in last year's System Dynamics 2 days workshop was arranged at IIT Bombay, where I participated. Siddesh was there, and I just told you the professor, JV.
Huh.
Okay. So there, IIT Bombay, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras. So currently it is taught in all these three IITs. Okay. As a
Hmm.
part of masters, they have
Hmm.
this one subject, and it's not like this is just the recent thing that they have integrated into the curriculum. So they have been teaching for, let's say, last 10-15 years. They have been working in this, and the same question was asked by one of the professor for IIT Kharagpur. Why is it not popular? And even most of the B schools also include this in their curriculum. Okay, but the problem is what he said is uh, the practical application is something that we find it difficult. The first thing is, and second, my observation is because of the different language, right? It requires a little bit of orientation for the people to maybe discuss in systems thinking language, which can be one of
Hmm.
the barrier that what I can see. But of course, the issue is it's not that popular in application, so that is a really big issue. And how do we popularize it? That's something is still an open question.
Hmm. True.
But yeah, maybe
Almost like how,
teach it. Yeah.
yeah, almost similar to how kind of a lot of these courses on project management, right? Like
Yeah.
PMP certification and all those things. They come with their own jargon, languages, and other things. Becomes as it becomes complicated, people run away from them. So,
So the challenge is how do we explain this without using this terms maybe with simple examples, with day-to-day examples, and making it a generalized or palatable for all the people, whether they have the maybe orientation to systems dynamics vocabulary or not.
to
So that's
let us
that's one
simplify
project
this.
I'm working on. So if you have any
Good,
insights, we can collaborate on this.
wonderful. I would love to. I'll probably ping you on WhatsApp sometime.
Sure. And yeah, so one of the suggestion was from one of the professors from IIT Bombay was majority of the system dynamics or systems thinking research or the creation of all these resources in terms of books and the system archetypes that has been done in West, to be frank. And one of the problem is the examples that they use or the tools that they use is from West. For example, there is a bathtub example. Okay. So bathtub is nothing but uh, Just a minute. I'll just put that. On screen so that you can just see it. Oh, this is my video.
Mhm.
Great. I can use my video. Yeah, so bathtub is nothing but stock flow diagram. When we discuss about stock flow, right? So inflow and outflow is a flow and water level is the stock. So if we understand stock flow diagram, so bathtub is one of the popular example in systems thinking. So in India, if we say bathtub, I don't think around 60, 70 or 80% of the people or maybe 90% of the people don't use bathtub, right?
Mm.
Or maybe I may be wrong in the numbers. Maybe the number would be higher on the higher
Yeah,
side.
but it will still be like 80-20-ish in my
Uh,
perspective.
yeah, so bathtub is not so popular. So can we change this bathtub to uh, maybe the what do we say
Mm.
ranjan or the pot, the water pot? What do we say
Yeah,
in Marathi? We called it as a ranjan. I'm unable to remember the English name.
it's basically that we take water for drinking, right? Matka.
Yeah. Matka, yes. Yeah. A big matka, we can say, which has a tap, and with that tap, you can take out the water, right?
Right.
Yeah. So with this, how can we uh, use the local or Indian example? So that is something that one of the professor from IIT Bombay is also interested to explore. So that is something that is a requirement maybe.
Mm.
And
That will also help understand better.
yeah, and one of the interesting research that is happening in systems thinking, generally we find it that systems thinking is very difficult, right? As a first impression, but it's not so. For children, it's very intuitive. And systems thinking is being taught in many of the schools, even pre-primary and primary school children as well. There are many projects in which they are teaching systems thinking for school-going children, and they are finding it amazing and wonderful results are coming out of that. So that's also one of the interesting exploration if you want in systems thinking, if you want to explore.
Mm.
And my take is why I'm so interested in systems thinking is when I see sustainability and systems thinking, so these are very close to each other. Just the thing that we are not aware about it. Both are very close. If we want to find out a sustainable solution, it has to be thought with systems thinking lens. Otherwise, it would not be sustainable in long term.
Yeah.
And when we apply systems thinking, it's not only about, let's say, gaining more profit. That cannot be just the goal, right? So, if we apply systems thinking, that has to be a betterment of maybe all the stakeholders which are involved in the system. And that's why we use systems thinking, right? So, we not only think about only humans, but also the nature, the other stakeholders as well. So, if we apply systems thinking in a good way, that again reinforces the sustainability or sustainable solutions as well. So both are really close and
Yeah, they feed off each other.
yeah, they feed up each other. So in system archetype or systems thinking language, we can say that these are reinforcing loop. One is
Mm.
reinforcing another. So that goes on and on. But yeah, it's
Yeah, that's a nice compare.
yeah. All right, so we have spent more than 1 hour. So just a quick feedback from others also. If you are interested in this, we can arrange more session of systems thinking because this is not popular. Not many people join. But let me know if you are interested. We can conduct more sessions. If I can just get quick. feedback from others as well. Mona Lisa, Pradeep, Pradeep ji, if you want to add something, please. Okay, I guess we can stop then. Achyut, thank you. Thank you so much for joining and adding your insights.
No, this is a great topic, like you said, and it connects multiple things. Sustainability seems to be a very natural match, but in general in life as well, right? If you start looking at things from a systems perspective, you get a more holistic solution than a one directional solution. So, thanks for this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for joining. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
You too. You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Same to you.